Hi. I believe it was Alan Watts who wrote that some people are okay with the fact that the rules of life may change, but very few people are okay with the fact that there are no rules, that there's no rules for living your life. It's this big game, and I haven't come across any rules. I've come across a lot of bylaws and a lot of implications and a lot of enculturations. And a lot of the things that I have learned, I've had to unlearn. I've had to sort of stop and look and see, wait a minute, does this make any sense? And when it didn't, just stop doing it. One of the things that I do fairly frequently, and I tell people to do because it seems to make sense to me, is I tell people quit early and often. And by that I mean if you're doing something you don't like, stop. Even if you've made a commitment, stop. If it doesn't make any sense, if you don't like doing it, just stop doing it. As an example, our fourth child, daughter number 2 as well, when she finished homeschool high school in 2 years, looked at the curriculum, figured she could do it. The summer she graduated from high school or finished her homeschool stuff, she went to Texas, back to where we were living in Switzerland. She went back to Texas and lived with a real gracious, hospitable family, the Owlens there, so she could swim on our neighborhood swim team. And what she saw out of that was that she was really enjoying being a kid. She had committed to an apprenticeship, which you get to do here in Switzerland at a fairly young age. She was 15, and she thought that she wanted to be a cook. So she signed up for a 3-year apprenticeship at a 4-star hotel in one of the major ski resorts here. And we'd gone through the interviews and everything, and she was excited to do it. When I got home from the States after she did, a few weeks after she had been on this apprenticeship, and when I got home, my wife Nicole told me that Naomi really didn't like the apprenticeship, wasn't having fun. And one evening I said, do you want to get worked on, meaning chiropractic kinesiology? And I started working on her, and I noticed that her body was not responding well, that she was actually unhealthy. And so I said to her, what's going on? She said, I hate the job, Dad. And I said, are you having bowel movements? Which is one of my major things, is keep your bowels moving and you'll be happy. It's not that simple, but it does assist in happiness. If you're constipated, it's tough to be happy. And she said, no. She said, I just hate that job so much. There's things that aren't happening. So, and she was being agitating around the house a little bit. But, and I went to pick her up that night, one of the nights while she was working, and she had got a driver's license in Texas, which wasn't legal in Houston, and she came out and she was storming mad. I mean, there was smoke coming out of her ears, and I was standing by the car, and she looked at me and said, what are you waiting for? And I said, well, I'm wondering who's driving home. And she got laughing. She said, I don't have a driver's license. I said, you do in Texas. And she drove home that night, and it put her in a better mood, and we got home and sat down with Nicole, my wife, and Nicole had been looking at what to do. Would it serve her to stay for the 3 years? And the three of us sat down, and she said, basically, she said, I'm not done being a kid yet. I don't want to be out in the workaday world, and I don't like the job. I don't like how they're treating me. I don't like anything about it. So Nicole, it fell to Nicole to call the hotel because I don't speak German well enough, and you could hear the manager screaming at Nicole on the other end of the phone, and it kind of pleased me, not that he was screaming at my wife, but the guy was, he and I didn't see eye to eye, let's say that. I can call him an asshole, but I know that's a reflection. But hearing him screaming, getting really upset, kind of soothed my soul. But as I was working on Naomi earlier, I said, well, you know, one of my rules is quit early and often. If something is jarring your system, and I know you've made a 3-year commitment, but in this case, I would recommend that you quit. And she said, that's what I want to do, and it's what she did. And she's now at a place called the École Militaire, which is a school in Switzerland that prepares kids for college, and she's been accepted to the Richmond University in London and gotten a scholarship and is exceedingly happy. Produced a yearbook over there, all kinds of things. Now, on the other hand, my other daughter, baby number 5, daughter number 3, had started high school here and came home one day at lunchtime and said, you know, it's really unfair. She said, first of all, everybody's speaking a language I don't speak. Second of all, a lot of this is repeat stuff. The geography and stuff like that is repeat to them. And I'm having to play a lot of catch-up, and this is really, really tough on me. And I said, well, you know, one of my basic rules, quit early and often. And she said, no, I'm not going to do it. She said, I've made a commitment. She said, I can do it. She said, I just need to complain some about it because it is hard going. I want you to know what I'm going through. And she went on, and there was a test that 5 people took to go on to higher education, what they call gimme here, gymnasium. And 4 people passed, and Amy was one of them. So some of the things that we're taught, how to live our lives by, you know, make a commitment. If you made a commitment, you have to make a commitment. I don't believe in it. Life is short. I was born 57 years ago, and it seems to have gone relatively quickly. And I am so glad of the commitments I've made and kept. I'm glad I stayed in chiropractic college, although there was a lot of temptation to not continue, because it is not an easy ordeal. But I'm really glad that I did. If I could have quit my own clinic once I purchased it within the first couple months, I would have done it. But I'd made a financial investment, and I couldn't see any way out. It wasn't until almost 10 years later that I saw, wait a minute, I don't have to stay here. You know, I paid money. I paid $110,000, overpaid for my clinic. Everybody knew that. And then sold it for about 10. Everybody said, you lost money. I said, no. No, I had 10 years of great income. I had 10 years of great experience in my clinic. I loved my clinic. I loved working with my patients. And then I got out. And I sold it to somebody at a fair price so that I could get out, so that I could walk away and walk to the next part of my life. So I'm going to be coming in with just little tidbits that I use in my class and talk about. And I'll try to lighten up. I really will. I'll do my best. I'll say lighten up before I do every video podcast. But have a fun day. Love you. MIC Peak Performance and my blog and my new book, Noticing Fixes More Than Fixing, is all out there for you to read and enjoy. Have a fun day. Bye.